Welcome back into another edition of Quarantine Conversations with the CDGA. Casey Richards, and today we are joined by Mike Small, head men's golf coach at the University of Illinois. Coach Small, really appreciate you taking the time today.
Well, thanks, Casey, for having me. And we have a lot of time on our hands right now. I'm still locked inside in my office at home, just doing some work. So I'm happy to catch up with you.
Absolutely. So that's kind of the case with everybody these days. I mean, a lot of extra time on everybody's hands. So what have you been up to these last 4 weeks? We kind of approach a month nearly in terms of when things first started to get shut down.
Yeah, it was funny. First of all, I've become a Zoom expert. I know we had a little trouble hooking up today, but I've been on Zoom nonstop. Just keep in touch with my team, having individual meetings and keeping tabs on them, but also planning for the future and for working on next fall, trying to get ahead of some things for our program. But also, I'm becoming more in tune with my own home. I'm never home in my line of work. I never get to spend this much time in my own house, and I'm seeing things that I need to do. I need to fix a few things around here, and but it's nice to be outside and just see the neighborhood. I live on a little lake, so I can fish a little bit. So it's I've tried to turn a negative into a positive, but like I tell people, I'm a proactive person. I'm living in a reactive world right now, so it's kind of frustrating for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure another thing that was frustrating for you is you had to be looking forward to the opportunity to play for a Big Ten championship in your home state, later this year. The men's Big Ten championship was slated to be at Rich Harvest Farms. You had been going for your 11th title in the last 12 years. So how much was it a disappointment to you that you won't be able to compete in Illinois for that title?
Yeah, that was a big disappointment, not only to me, but the entire team and the program. And we've been on a nice run, like you said, winning 10 of the last 11 Big Ten championships, and then to have a chance to play in your home state at Rich Harvest Farms, which is near and dear to us. We had a good run at the national championship there a few years ago, and we wanted to get back and play in front of a lot of Alumni fans, and it was gonna be a fun week. But obviously, things get in the way, and real world experiences have to take precedence. So we just have to follow the rules and just stay with what they tell us to do. But the team, it was disappointing. We were making some strides this spring. We were playing pretty well, and everybody was getting better. The mindset had changed and was strong, and momentum was being built. And to finish it off in the state at Rich Harvest Farms would have been a lot of fun, but obviously it can't happen. So we got to move on to the next thing, and the next thing we have to do.
Yeah, and so, I mean, you mentioned moving on. I guess one of the silver linings that came out of all of this was that the NCAA recently did come out with a ruling that, spring sport athletes are able to get an extra year of eligibility should they so choose. So how do you envision that impacting your program moving forward?
Well, we've already dealt with it. We've already come to some conclusions in our program. The minute that was announced, I think the day after they told us the season was canceled and to clear campus and get out of town, get out of Dodge, if you will. We had talked to our seniors and had them think about it and figure out what was best for them and what they wanted to do, for their careers and obviously for their college career, and see if they wanted to come back. And it was all their decision. It wasn't ours. We were going to support them. We would love to have them all back because they were great assets to our program. They were on the Final Four team the last time we've been to the Final Four when they were freshmen. And they experienced that at Rich Harvest. As a matter of fact, we just mentioned that. And, they wanted to get back there and they wanted to continue the story that they've been building. And so we left it up to them. And as of right now, Michael Fiegels and Giovanni Tadiato have decided to come back and utilize that fifth year of eligibility that the NCAA is providing them. So we're excited about that. We're thankful for the NCAA. We're thankful for our department for allowing that and funding them, their fifth year to come back and give them a chance to win 4 straight Big Ten championships themselves. And they want to do that. They want to be the first class to win 6 Big Ten championships in a row. So, here to Illinois. So it's an exciting time, a frustrating time. It's the purpose behind it. The only thing I asked in the whole decision was that when they decided to come back, or if they were going to come back and play their 5th year, I wanted them engaged and still committed to the academic process. Was there something here academically that they both could grow with, and or all three could achieve? Not just come back for golf, because this is an academic institution. It's always been that way for us, and we treat it that way. So both those guys are going to graduate in 4 years and also come back and pursue a master's. So it's a positive all the way around, really, because their family's coming up with some resources to fund their fifth year. The school's paying the rest of the resources to come up for their fifth year, and for them to have a chance to capitalize on some goals in the golf world, but also build their academic resume, makes perfect sense for all of us.
Absolutely. So you mentioned Giovanni there. He's obviously the latest in a long line of strong international players that you've been able to recruit to your program. At the same time, though, you've always seemed to balance that international presence with a crop of players from Illinois, from the state, that your university is the flagship program of. So how important is it to you to have that balance of bringing in, not only the best players from across the world, but the best players from your own backyard as well?
Well, it's very important. Like you said, this is the University of Illinois, and we'd love to have local flavor and local top players come play at our institution. And unfortunately, there's not probably the depth of players where we can compete for national championship just in one state. Very few states have that in the union. Maybe Texas and California withstanding, but it's so you have to go outside the borders, and you have to recruit nationally, regionally, then nationally, and almost globally now to serve that mandate from the university that we want to contend for national championships. So we always try to pay attention to the state, the junior players. We're near and dear. They're near and dear to us, and we want them to be successful. But we try to find the best ones that can fit our program and help us achieve our goals, and that's always important to us. So yeah, you have to recruit globally now, nationally always. But statewide and regionally, it's important. And we always look at Illinois first. That's where we look first, and we get to know the kids as much as we can. And if Illinois is not a place for them, we still wish them well and follow their successes and hope they achieve success at the college level. But you're only allowed to have 8 or 9 guys in your golf team, so you got to be very particular and selective in who you put on that roster. But we always do look at Illinois first, for sure.
Definitely. So when you're evaluating a golfer, whether it's someone who you're in the process of recruiting or maybe somebody who's already on your team, that is home for the summer, how much stock and how much value do you put in the various kind of summer circuit events they play in, along the likes of CDGA events or Illinois Junior Golf Association events? How important is how they perform in those events in your evaluation process?
Well, that's huge. I mean, that's a big deal because in recruiting, for instance, if you're recruiting somebody who has success at the junior level, the chances of them having success at the college level is greater. If they haven't had as much success at the junior level, that doesn't mean they can't have success at the college level, but obviously the chances are not as great. They haven't had that body of work. So we look at all the events. Now, that being said, we want junior players to play as often as they can and compete against the best competition on the best venues they can to give college coaches the best chance to critique their ability and kind of predict their future. So yeah, we look at that greatly. I mean, we recruit all the state events and watch the results and follow the recruits' progress and development. And then once they're in our program, it's important to keep playing competitive golf throughout the summer. We have them on campus from August all the way till probably end of May, first part of June, except for that month over Christmas when they're gone. We have them under our control and we're working with them, and we can see their development, keep a finger on their development. But in the summertime, we encourage them to leave and to go on their own and take what they learned throughout the year and the lessons and the improvements that they've made and test those on their own. Take it out, get away from the coaching staff, take ownership in your own game and go compete at whatever level, the highest level you can, and have success. I think the summers is where a lot of kids really show that improvement. You can have a great year in school and college and then take what you learned. And then if you can parlay it and have some success playing summer golf, the momentum coming back in the fall is so much more seamless. And that's something we really want our guys to do. And obviously the state and the CDGA really offer a lot of opportunities for our players to play. I think that's very important.
It'll certainly be interesting to see how a lot of your local players perform in the various events come this summer once we're able to get those going. So you've been in Illinois since 2000 now, and in that time, a lot of players that you've coached have gone on to professional careers in the various professional golf tours. As that list of Illinois alums on tour continues to grow and grow, how much pride do you take in that sort of network and that group that you've put on these tours that have all worn the orange and blue?
A lot of pride, a lot of pride. When we recruit them to come to Illinois, first of all, I want them to get that degree. That's the main reason why they come here. And we touched on that a little bit earlier. But after that, we want them to chase their dreams, grow their trade and see how good they can be at this game. And if they earn that right in their own mind to be able to turn professional and start at the lower levels of professional golf and work their way up to the PGA Tour or the European Tour or even the Radix Cup, which we've had, Thomas Peters played in the Radix Cup that played for us. So you want that. You want those aspirations and to see those come true for the guys and to see them playing majors and see them have their PGA Tour cards. We've had several guys do that and win on different tours and different levels. It makes you proud as a coach that they're actually chasing what they want and chasing their dreams and keeping that eye on the prize, if you will, and not getting distracted and fighting through all the ups and downs, because professional golf is one of the hardest professions there is. I mean, there's so much adversity, there's so much responsibility, there's so much things that are out of your control that you have to keep such a good attitude. And professional golf, if you get going down the wrong avenue, there's a lot of bad attitudes. There's a lot of negativity out there, a lot of frustration. So I'm proud of our guys for continuing to weave their way through their careers and stay on the positive side of the spectrum and have success and get to the PGA Tour. We've had a number of guys do that, and then they've lost their cards, and now they're fighting their way back or have fought their way back. And, it's a long career. Professional golf is a 30-year career. It's not a 5 or 10-year career like maybe the NFL is. So it's something that you can have some more time, but you have to have a lot of stamina and a lot of substance to yourself to do that. So that's what I'm most proud about our guys is they come to school with those ambitions, those dreams, they get their degree, and then they put it in their pocket and want to chase professional golf and see how good they can be. And I'm in their corner the whole way. They know they can call me. We talk and discuss things at times. But again, we want to coach them here with the aspect that when they get on tour, they've learned enough and they've served their time here that maybe they're ready to go to take those chances and take that responsibility and chase their dreams. So we're proud of them. We watch them all the time, and they're just living. They're doing what they want to do.
Yeah. And a lot of that insight that you have on what it is like to be a professional golfer probably comes from your own background a little bit. I mean, we've spent a lot of time talking about your role as head coach at Illinois, but I know you've also enjoyed a very successful playing career and are still in the midst of doing so. Recently you've won 3 straight Illinois Senior PGA Championships. You compete regularly on the PGA Tour Champions. So how were you able to keep your game, in the condition that it is, while also balancing the time demands of being a Division I head coach?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot, and thanks for asking that. But I don't really have an answer. It's amazing. I tell people if I try to figure that out, I might mess myself up. I just let it ride and let it go with it. But I coach first. That's what I've always said. I can coach first and player second. But they're intertwined and they feed off each other. And I don't think our program would have had the incline or the progress over 20 years if I hadn't brought a playing perspective to the position where kids want to come compete alongside of a coach. And I'm still out there in the summer times trying to make some money and trying to compete and play in majors and playing PGA Tour events back in the day and now Champions Tour events. I think it makes them it inspires them to keep going, and it keeps that dialogue between the coach and the player vibrant and strong. And I think it's really helped both. And I think the coaching aspect has helped my playing. I've made more cuts in the PGA Tour, more money as a professional golfer when I've been coaching than I did when I played. And, even though I played the PGA Tour back in the day before coaching, to go back out there and see the guys and see now see guys that I coached against, not necessarily played against back in the day. It's just fun for me. It keeps me alive. It gives me something to look forward to. I think my coaching's better that I still have time to play because there's something to look forward to besides just a normal day in out and day grind of a profession. And I think it keeps me vibrant personally, but I think our guys like the stories and the stuff I learn and that I'm out there having success and choking and losing just as much as anybody else is. And I can bring those back, and it's a humbling game, and if people can relate to you from that standpoint, it helps everything. And I think the success of our program over the years is maybe, has something, the playing aspect has something to do with that.
Definitely. So one of the events that you play in semi-frequently on the local level is the Radix Cup matches, which annually pits, a team of Illinois PGA professionals against a team of the best amateur golfers in the area, organized by the CDGA. It's been since 2017, I believe, that you played in that event, but you've played in it a handful of times. What is it you enjoy about that team setting and that team competition that's unique in the area?
Yeah, I enjoy it just because it's competition. I'm seeing guys I don't normally see. A lot of the amateurs, I see them more from a coaching perspective than a playing perspective. It's just good to go do that. I'm regretful, and I'm kind of bummed out that I can't plan it as often as I like because of the time of year it is. It conflicts with coaching, recruiting duties, and also conflicts with some playing opportunities for myself on tour. But I think I played it, like you said, maybe a handful of times. And when I do get the chance and it matches the schedule right, it's fun to go up and see the younger players, guys that I coached against, and in a match play format in foursomes, and it's the ability to have a partner and go compete. But I think it's a great idea. It's been going on for a long time. Always a spirited match. It's something that each side wants to win, which I wouldn't want to play in it if it wasn't competitive. And it's just something that hopefully keeps going. And it's had a great history. And I just wish my schedule permitted me to play in it more often.
Yeah. Well, the IPGA pros definitely got the better end of it last year, winning kind of by a landslide, but we'll see how it shakes out in 2020 here. So thank you very much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. Nice to get a look in your office there. Lots of good hardware there behind you and everything too. So, thank you for kind of giving an inside look at what you're up to these days. And we really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Good luck, and stay safe. And golf will be here before we know it, buddy. It's going to be here right around the corner.
Absolutely.